From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Colorado's western slope is famous for the fruit that's grown there. Cherries, apples, and of course, peaches are a staple of farmers markets. But Colorado is also famous for wild, unpredictable weather. And this past April, a spring freeze devastated many of the Western Slope's fruit orchards. Some growers saw total losses of this year's crops. We wanted to know how fruit growers survive after a devastating event like April's freeze and how they keep their farm stands stocked. So we reached out to Harrison Topp to learn more. He's a co-owner of Topp Fruits, a family farm that grows peaches, apples, and cherries in Paonia and Hotchkiss. That April 17th freeze wiped out their entire crop. But his season wasn't a total loss. Harrison spoke with me about an unusual partnership with another farm, which will allow both operations to still have a presence at farm stands this summer, despite the devastation to his crops. You've been growing fruit on the Western Slope for well over a decade, so you're used to the possibility of a spring cold snap. When did you realize that your entire crop had been lost?
Well, the day after, things didn't look good. Within a week, things were looking pretty bad. We had well over 1,000 samples that we took, and we cut in half literally each one and didn't find anything alive.
Colorado is known for erratic weather in the spring. How unusual is it to have a freeze that wipes out an entire crop?
It's certainly the first time we've experienced it. It certainly happens. It's a known risk in this business. But to have a complete wipeout the way that we did is really very abnormal.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to clarify, we're in Delta County, which is just south of Mesa County, which is where Palisade is. And so Palisade came through, not at 100%, but came through pretty darn well.
Right.
Whereas Delta County, where we are, which is just a little bit of a higher elevation, tends to be a little bit behind Palisade in terms of our temps, is what got wiped out.
Now, you have a partnership with a sister farm in Palisade called Rancho Durazno. You and the lead farmer there started this relationship a couple of years ago. How do you share resources and costs in a normal year?
Sure. Well, the relationship started when we would see each other dropping off produce at various customers' coolers and locations.
Yeah.
And then that sort of evolved into us coordinating a little bit, saying, oh, hey, I know you sell to this person. I'm short on something this week. Would you be able to sell them a little bit more? Or, hey, I have a lot of this product this week. Would you mind if I took the entire sales at this account? And that was the first sort of casual iteration of our relationship. And then year after year after year, we find new ways to participate. So at this point, we do all of our sales and marketing together. So we ask buyers to treat our fruit fungibly. So if they order 6 pallets of peaches, they might get 4 pallets of Rancho Durazno and 2 pallets of Topp Fruits. And for the most part, all of our buyers are really excited to do that. It's given us greater capacity to reach out and find new buyers, as well as manage trucking and logistics. Getting stuff from the Western Slope to the Front Range or beyond, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And working together to share both the financial implications of that trucking as well as the logistical parts of it has been invaluable.
Beyond typical stuff like sharing transportation, talk about how this partnership with Rancho Durazno will help you out this year, in a year where, your fruit harvest was wiped out.
Yeah, so this year in particular, once we were pretty confident we knew that we didn't have a crop, Gwen and I sat down and had a pretty tough conversation about what do we do when we have 2 farms worth of customers and only 1 farm worth of fruit? How do we keep people happy? How do we continue to supply the people who have come to rely on us as their fruit growers? And when we did have to triage, where were our most important places that we wanted to maintain a presence? And one of those places that we decided on early was farmers markets, because one, we were able to receive a little bit more of that retail dollar than normal.
Sure.
And two, it's a place that we can count on consistency, where we can count on that relationship with our customers. And so even though it's not the place that we move the most volume, it became the top priority to make sure that we were able to satisfy those markets.
Yeah.
And so we decided that we would co-brand farmers markets that historically Top Fruits has done as Top Fruits and Rancho Durazno markets. We weren't able to do it with every market that we go to, but we chose 3 that we felt like were really critical to stay present at. And so now we're able to participate in those markets still, even though we don't have a crop.
So when you sell from Rancho Durazno at your farm stand or at a farmer's market this summer, do the 2 farms split the revenue like 50-50?
I'm not going to get too deep into our financial arrangement, but we have a very equitable arrangement with one another that makes sure that Rancho Durazno is able to pay themselves. Their expenses are way higher than our expenses are this year.
Gotcha.
They have a crop. They've got a crew. They're packing things. It's not a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, our goals are different. Our goals are to maintain a presence at farmers markets. Our goals are to keep our staff that we count on summer after summer to run our farmers markets, keep them employed, make sure that they can get paid. So as much as it is benefiting Top Fruits probably a little bit more than it's benefiting Rancho Durazno, we really try to find the most mutually beneficial way to do this in a way that keeps everybody whole in the ways that they need to for the summer.
Now, you have stands at farmers markets in Lafayette and City Park Market in Denver. Will your customers notice a difference when they see or taste another farm's produce from your booth?
But that's a good question. I do think that there is a little difference in taste between the Palisade and the Delta County fruit. And as much as Rancho Durazno and us work together, there are subtle differences in some of our practices, some of the ways that we might assess a harvest date or assess when to start picking or what to pack. So there may be nuances there, but honestly, I'm excited for people to try it. And people will have access to things like apricots, which they wouldn't normally have access to at a Top Fruits booth. So there will be awesome opportunities to try things that are a little bit outside of our normal offerings, like apricots, like a Charente melon, which is a melon that's just wonderful and aromatic. And unfortunately, they won't have access to things like apples and pears that we're normally able to provide. So
just briefly, do you know other farms that have a relationship like the one you have with Rancho Durazno?
I don't know. I certainly know other farms that work together. I don't know any farms that have the same intimate relationship that Rancho Durazno and Top Fruits have, that have entwined in quite the same way that we have. There could be other examples of it out there, but what we have feels unique and special.
That was Harrison Top of Top Fruits, talking about how he's keeping his farmers market stands stocked this year, despite a devastating April frost. By the way, we also invited a representative from Harrison's partners, Rancho Durazno, but they declined. It's a busy time for farmers. You can find Top Fruits this summer at Lafayette Farmers Market and in Denver at the City Park and Harvey Park Farmers Markets. There's a link in our show notes and at KUNC.org to learn more. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.